Hey, beautiful ones. How are you? I'm so excited to dive into today's topic. And I'm just going to wait for a few minutes to see who comes on. I'm in my new home. You'll notice there's a different backdrop. We flew from NYC last night to Los Angeles, and I'm sitting here in our temporary accommodation, which is right down. Hi, gorgeous Tash. Which is right down by the beach in Santa Monica. One thing I will say that I'm not on board with is these people don't use air conditioning. I was literally using wet flannels last night as a pregnant woman to keep myself cool. So listen, it's like the gherkin in the cheeseburger at McDonald's. They do that to give you something to be complaining about, because who doesn't love McDonald's? Okay. Let's not talk about McDonald's because it's pretty shitty food, but you get what I'm saying. So like everything is amazing. And if that's really my worry right now, there's no AC, it's really nothing to worry about at all. So, okay, so today's topic is pretty juicy, right? It's really, are you feeling deep down this sense of shame that you're not in a soulmate relationship, that you're not in a place in your life where you know that you should be, right? It's this kind of feeling that lives in the pit of your tummy. And the thing on top of this horrible feeling is this fear and this constant worry that this is just the way that it's going to be for you. So if that's you, this live is for you. Please don't be shy. Put your questions in the comments so that I can answer that for you today, because these Q&As are for you. And I always say, my women that are in Soul to Soul right now, they're amazed at when they bring their full self in, right, to really get these deep teachings. They're like, oh my goodness, the way I'm showing up in here is transferring over to my life and I'm getting all these different results and outcomes. It's like, yes, you resonate. Cool, Tash. Okay, so, all right. So thank you for commenting. So those of you that resonate, look, I know there's many of you in here, and I also have been in that place. And the first thing, I made a couple of notes because I'm going to stay on track today and keep this, short and to the point, is that the first thing I want to say to you is that shame is in the same family as guilt, right? It serves absolutely zero purpose. It actually is a coping mechanism, and it's a place that allows us to stay safe, right? It's in that category of keeping us out of actually taking action and changing our life. It's in that victimhood. It's in that hopelessness. Hey, gorgeous Echo. It's in those feelings of powerlessness, self-loathing. There's betrayal of self. I'm obviously not worthy of a relationship like my other friends. There's something wrong with me, or men just don't want to commit to me, or I'm just not good at love, or I watched my parents struggle with divorce, and at your core, you're not in alignment with receiving love, and you know it, and it just puts that extra layer of fear of like, I don't know even how to get into alignment. I don't know how to get out of this shame. Who feels like that, right? It's like this self-fulfilling prophecy. And the problem with shame is it gets traction really, really quickly. It breeds. And then you start to actually enroll people in this shitty story. Like relationships are hard. There are just no good men left. It's because of my age. It's blah, 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 blah. You can fill in the gaps. But the one thing I want to say right now is that shame is toxic. And shame is keeping you small and out of the life that you were actually put on this earth to live. Because every single one of you in this community, I don't need to meet you to know that you were born for an amazing life. You were born to be loved. We all are, because my firm belief is that having a soulmate relationship is not mine, is our birthright. And if you're not in a place where you feel like you're good at love, that starts and stops with you. It's not the men. It's not your childhood. You've taken on, many of you, the stories of your ancestors, the stories of your family, and you've made them your own. I speak to so many women that go through Soul to Soul, and they come to me feeling really downtrodden and really like, love is out of limits for me. It's out of bounds. It's kind of not what my family are good at. I've got one girl right now who's finishing Soul to Soul, and she said, women in my family suck at relationships. All our relationships in our family, she said, they're all broken. Then when she came to me, she inspired me. She said, I'm going to put a stop to that. And I'm going to be the woman that shows my family what's possible. And she had a lot of shame, and she had a lot of reason to have that shame. Can you relate to that? So I invite you right now to just stop for a minute and just let that uncomfortable, gross, icky feeling of shame come to the surface, and see if you can pinpoint it for yourself on the origin. Is it your story? Or is it your story and then this story you've inherited? Maybe you've watched your sister go through a really shitty marriage. Maybe you've watched your parents. Maybe you've seen friends. Trust me, the women that come to me, a lot of them, they've got all these references of relationships that failed. So as far as they're concerned, they're like, I mean, soulmate relationship, A, does that even exist? And B, I haven't got any role models around me that show me that you can have this healthy, easy, connected, beautiful relationship. I'm like, that's the issue. Because we get what we expect. And if you keep looking for failure and then really inheriting that as your own story, it's going to keep you small. So let's stay on track here with shame, okay? Because it's one thing that you can actually give up right now and realize that it's keeping you in a holding pattern, and it's keeping you out of alignment with actually not just letting in love, but really taking up space in this world and being all of who you're meant to be. Because this shame, it seeps into other areas of our life. It affects our career. It has you hold back in friendships. It has you hold back your self-expression. It has you hold back in the workplace. I can definitely tell you it's affecting your bank account right now as well, because if you're just getting by with this lens of shame, it's you telling yourself that you're not worthy. It's you telling yourself that you're actually hopeless, you know, in a lot of areas in your life. And it feels like a disease. That's the best way to describe it. When women come to me, it actually feels like an illness and something that is just like something you've got. And I'm here to say to you that you do not have to suffer with that shame for another day. And it just points to the fact that deep down, a part of you has given up. And let me remind you that that's not who you are. So stop allowing yourself to indulge in the pity party and the victimhood. Yes, I'm saying that. And yes, I'm being tough because I want to snap you out of the suffering paradigm. So many women that come to me feel like they're doing something right by suffering, by complaining, by worrying. It's almost like, well, they grew up as a little girl where they had to worry a lot, you know, in the family. And so they take that into their adulthood. And if you're not worrying or you're not feeling disappointed, then it's like, I don't know who I am without that. I had a girl the other day who literally said, I'm terrified to be happy. I only know, she said, I know how to deal with disappointment, but I don't know how to be happy. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what it's like to be loved. I wouldn't have a clue what a soulmate relationship actually would feel like. So to her, it's like, well, it's just easier and makes sense to just keep living in this cycle. I'm like, how's that working out for you really? How are those dreams really? Because what I can tell you is if you're in a relationship with shame, your dream isn't getting a look in right now. And you're certainly not taking action to move any closer towards that. And another thing is, the universe isn't just going to bail you out of shame. The universe wants you to thrive, but you, my darling one, have to step the F up and actually do something about it and get the right support to pull you out of this shit show and put you on the path so that you can create the future that is going to light you up. You can actually be deeply fulfilled and shine your light and start to live in a new identity of a woman who is going to have a soulmate relationship, who is going to have a thriving future, who is going to experience intimacy on tap, orgasms on tap, love, right? That support, that's what we all are here for, is to experience love. Because in my opinion, the highest currency we have here on this earth is love, is connection, is being seen and supported and cherished. So this comes back to one conversation, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. You can't possibly attract in a soulmate relationship if you've got shame and you're turning on yourself, turning inward, belittling yourself, betraying yourself, speaking negatively. Oh my God, you're such an idiot. Like, you got to start noticing all that shitty self-talk that you say to yourself. I couldn't possibly blah, blah, blah. You've got to actually start getting conscious and cognitive of the way that you treat yourself and realize that that is like putting the brakes on for the rest of your life. That's how you're living right now. There is nothing to be gained from shame. It doesn't look good on you. It's never going to look good on you. And the thing that I'm here to talk about is that you can't have shame in the space of love. Otherwise, you're going to attract in a codependent relationship with a guy who wants some needy woman. And that's not why you're here in my group, which is called Ignite Your Queen, Attract Your Soulmate. So it's a very, very important topic because I just want to go back to my notes, make sure I'm not skipping anything. So shame is also, it's a hiding place. It's actually indulgent because it's just got that constant energy of hopelessness, of failure, of giving up, of life happening to you instead of life happening for you. And it's a whole perspective that you're living your life through that is literally having an impact on all those other parts. Like I mentioned, friendship, career, health, wealth, all of it. It blocks your capacity to receive, and the focus is going inward. So that's why I say it's very self-indulgent, because it's that energy of retreating. And there are many ways that you are possibly coping with it right now, which is withdrawing. So just not putting yourself out there, and then saying, oh, well, it's just the apps, or, oh, I've already tried and love didn't work for me. That's defeated energy, and that will take you down into shame, because that's not a woman who's stepping up and claiming her life. It's a woman who's accepting defeat. And let me remind you, that's not who you really are. It's, as I said, you know, I understand that for many of you, there is a level of feeling possibly embarrassed, like, you know, you're going to weddings and you keep finding yourself on the single table, or your parents are just like, oh my gosh, like, when are you ever going to bring someone home? Like, what's the deal? How much longer do we have to wait? Are we ever going to get grandkids, right? There could be that theme. But at the end of the day, if you're allowing that in, it means that you've given up your power. And you're allowing other people to keep you small as well, which means that your self-expression is being completely squashed right now. And it's like little girl energy. You know, in my masterclass, if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. But I talk about how the little girl right now is running your adult relationships. And she's the one that plays small and contracts and hides. And it's about you actually doing the work to really build her up so that you can move into your queen identity, take control of your life, not give a fuck about what people think about you, and take up space and be unapologetically you, get the right support so you can build a brand new foundation, a brand new belief system, a brand new mindset of a woman who's absolutely going to have that soulmate relationship. No questions asked, right? Because once you take the time to get the right support, you know, your whole life is going to change. You've got to be honest with yourself. This is the other thing I want to say, to go, how is my life actually working out for me right now with this story that I've got going, that love isn't fair, that I suck at relationships? Sorry, I didn't even see these comments. Tash, that makes sense. You always seem to be speaking to me. Echo, I'm over feeling like life isn't going to get better. I'm grateful for what I do have. I'm my worst enemy at times when I should be my best friend. 100%, Tash. This is the point I'm making, is that you girls have got to stop being your fucking own worst enemy and get behind yourself. I just had an amazing woman today, join Soul to Soul. She goes, Lucy, I'm not willing to go one more day. I'm sick of my own bullshit. And she goes, if I could do this, I would have done it by now. I'm a smart woman, right? She goes, I'm doing great in every other area of my life. But she goes, I can't figure this shit out. This has been going on with me since I was a little girl. She goes, what do I have to do this program? She was like, nothing's going to stop me. And that, my friends, is the attitude. That attitude of being unstoppable with your dream, taking ownership of your dream. And please, for the love of God, stop trying to do it yourself. You are wasting precious time. And for many of you that want to have children, it's time we don't get back. You're jeopardizing those eggs you have right now. Really, I say this from the bottom of my heart, because I'm so grateful for where I am right now. But when I look back, and I did get support, I did step up, I have invested in myself, which is why I now teach this work. But I look back and I was like, I still wish like I'd done it even sooner. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm a late starter and I'm fucking proud of where I'm at. I love it. And I love that I'm a late starter. I take ownership of that. But I'm like, oh, imagine if I did that 10 years sooner. You know what I'm saying? So you've really got to stop feeling sorry for yourself and acting like there's no way out, because there's always a solution when you're ready to step up. It's like when you're ready, the teacher appears. And then it's about you not putting anything in the way, not excuses, not reasons, not your own bullshit of why you can't, and going, hang on a minute. Who is the most important person in your life right now? Hey, gorgeous cat. Seriously, I want you to answer that. Who is the most important person in your life right now that you should be investing everything into? Is it your mom or your dad or your friendships? Absolutely fucking not. It's you, and it's always been you. But it's amazing how we can put all our energy and focus into trying to please others or show up for others, yet at the end of the day, we're not doing that for ourselves. And it's an absolute travesty. Because until you get how sublime and magnificent you are, and until you actually show the universe like you are the priority and you're not going to stop until you take care of yourself so you can show up in this life, you're going to keep getting exactly the same outcome. In 6 months from now, in a year from now, in another year after that, all the way to 40 and beyond. And that is the truth. Please don't sit here thinking that shame is a plan, or that just accepting your story is a plan. And hope, 1000% is not a plan. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is also another hiding place. Well, I just hope that, next year's the year of the dog, so maybe things will just change. Or next year, I'm going to be in a completely different place. 2020's got a good ring to it. No. Hope isn't changing your internal state. It's not changing your belief systems. It's not healing and transforming the sabotaging behaviors that you're addicted to right now. And many of you actually are addicted to feeling sorry for yourself. And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I'm saying it because it's been something that your little girl felt as, strongly. And she doesn't know what it looks like to not feel like life is hard, to not feel like you don't have to struggle. That actually feels scary for many of you. It feels very scary to let yourself dream and to be the leading lady and to be the priority. That actually can feel really scary. I have women often that will say, shit, Lucy, on the call with me, like, I don't know what my dream is. I don't let myself dream because I'm terrified of not getting it. I just know how to be miserable. I just know how to not get what I want. I'm like, well, stop tolerating that. So basically, until you deal with this shame head on and realize it's not who you are and that you don't have to tolerate it for one more second, it's going to drag you down to the bottom of the ocean like a big fat anchor. And it's going to be impacting your health right now. It's a breeding place for anxiety. It's a breeding place for depression and illness, which, yes, can go all the way to cancer, can go all the way to death, believe it or not. You want to keep racking up that shame. It's costing you a lot more than just a relationship right now. Sounds really brutal, but it's freaking true. So you've got to understand that by accepting shame and living in this shame, that's you just basically going, there's my power, to the universe. And into relationships, there's my power. I don't have any control over this. It's not my fault relationships don't work. They just don't work for me. Not true. You've just put yourself in a corner and you've forgotten who you are and you've turned your back on that dream and your magnificence. And I really want to invite you to feel into the truth of, why would you put up with this for one more hour, one more second, one more day, when you can actually have it all? And I'm not saying it's easy, by the way. I'm not saying there's a silver bullet. I don't have a silver bullet. I don't hand out Band-Aids or silver bullets, by the way. And if anyone's telling you they can, run for the friggin' hills. It takes commitment. It takes work. It takes getting the right support to be held through a process where you get to experience who you really are and you get to taste that magic. I'm seeing it every week with my amazing women, right, Kat? One of them. And it's fucking awe-inspiring seeing women take their life back into their own hands, getting out of this place and into this place and actually seeing for the first time, holy shit, I'm amazing. Like, for real, like, it is absolutely breathtaking when it never gets old. It's like watching people, my friends having babies, and the fact I'm having a baby, but it's like, it never gets old. Like, oh, she just had a baby. Oh, this girl just changed her life. It's like, fuck yes. Because when you give yourself permission to go shine and love yourself enough to get the support, don't underestimate the impact you're going to have on your friends and on random strangers by your undeniable new light. And the other thing we're here on this earth to feel is not just connection to another human being and be loved, but to feel deeply fulfilled that we're making a difference. You can't pay for that kind of feeling when you know that you're having an impact on someone else. It's like a direct channel to the universe, direct channel to God, whatever you want to call it. You know, it just really is. It's like what puts the sparkle back in your soul. And you know, for many of you who are mothers in here, it's like you're not just going to go and get the support for yourself, but for your children. Otherwise, who are you being as a role model right now? For them to see an unfulfilled mother, a mother who's not in her skin, who's not in her heart. It directly transfers to your children right now. And maybe your children aren't even sharing that with you because they can't put words to it yet. But don't underestimate that, like, that's exactly what's happening. It's transference. And this is why, like, this beautiful girl who's, as I said, who's nearly finished Soul to Soul right now, she goes, I can't just be another statistic, another woman in my family who's had a failed relationship. She goes, this needs to stop right now. I'm not going to accept that this is my lineage and this is just what happens to us. I was like, no fucking way, sister. It stops with you. And that, like, she felt that deep down in her womb space. She was just, I could just feel her fire. She was like, fuck yes. And that's the energy of, like, would you really put up with shame for one more day when you can actually be out there using the music inside of you and being all of who you are, whereby when you get the right support this time next year, you're going to basically be unrecognizable to yourself because you're going to be happy and thriving and feeling rich inside your soul. What is that worth to you? To get out of this bullshit shame and suffering and betrayal of self and into being who you're born to be. What is that worth to you right now? That's the conversation we're in, because it's costing you a fucking fortune for every day that you are turning your back on yourself. And by the way, this world needs more light, more healers, more women out there shining their light brightly. We need this now more than ever. Because actually there's this whole thing of, you know, women are so competitive with other women. Not in my group. We freaking support each other. We love that, you know, the bigger you dream, the better. It's like, fuck yeah, sister, go rock it, go smash it. That's true empowerment, not this competitive, bitchy bullshit. Yeah, this is another reason why women are scared to, like, go and take up space, because they're like, oh, it's not safe, I'll just get beaten down. Absolutely not. So really, if you're feeling right now, no, my pleasure, Tash, if you're feeling left behind and, like, sorry, one sec, I'm going back to my notes. If you're feeling left behind and you're sick of being the third wheel and you're sick of just feeling like you're the godmother or just the auntie, I really want you to hear me when I say this. It's like, stop accepting that role. Not that godmothers isn't an awesome role, and not that being an auntie isn't an awesome role. I'm both of those. But I remember back when I was just always the bridesmaid or always the MC or always the singer, and I was like, yay, it's so awesome. And it was awesome. But I was keeping, like, my dream of being in this soulmate relationship at such a distance. It's such, like, out of my reach. I was just being this fun girl, like, yay, like, I'll just come in, wear the pretty dress and, you know, bring the fun to the party, instead of actually going, Lucy, you can have this. But I remember just thinking, I'm so aware of my flaws. I'm so aware of my own abandonment issues and my big fear of letting love in. But that's about as far as it got for me. It was just that awareness. And for those of you, there's so many bright women in this community, awareness isn't enough. It's not going to change anything for you. It's about deeply integrating a process. It's not talk therapy where you just talk and talk and talk and talk. It's very top line. What you need to do is get a deep process of integration to get that heart cracked open so that you can truly be authentic and truly be self-expressed and unapologetic and truly vulnerable. Because many of you think you're being vulnerable when you're being flat out needy and insecure. And you're coming at relationships from, like, this checkbox, like, have you got this? Do you want to have babies? Da, 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 da. And the guy feels it and he wants to run a mile. Because why wouldn't he? It's like if you had a guy who comes in with a list, hey, Artie, and you can just see that he's almost like qualifying you. It's like, that's not going to pull you in. It's going to push you away, because he's not connecting with his heart with you. He's not bringing in who he is. He's just weighing you up. Are you going to be a good wife? And that's what you're doing right now in relationships, is you're treating them like a transaction. Like you just got to get these boxes ticked, and it's so masculine, and it's allowing you to hide and not bring in your heart. And the only reason you're doing that is because you don't believe that it's safe. It doesn't feel safe for you. It's much easier just to go in with this bravado and this idea of yourself, because at least you're not risking anything. So it's like you're doing love completely from arm's length. That's some of you. Many of you are not even dating right now because online hasn't worked for you, online dating, and it's not fun. And I get that. But online dating is actually, it's just a portal of energy. So if it's not working for you and you're attracting an emotionally unavailable man, that's a reflection of you being emotionally unavailable for yourself. Because I've got women who go through soul to soul, and you're not allowed to date in that, by the way, because you're not ready. And then at the end, when they get out there dating, they're like, holy shit, online's friggin' awesome. Now I'm attracting men in from a place of fullness and the caliber is fucking awesome. I'm like, no shit. Because you're feeling awesome in who you are. So of course you're going to attract in a different type of person. So basically, I'm inviting you to stop eating this shame story for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It looks really crap on you. You're way too amazing to be indulging in this self-pity. And I know it can be addictive, and I know it's something that we know, right? We know how to be down. We know how to feel sorry for ourselves. We know how to be disappointed. But I'm holding a space for you to say, no, you can have an abundant life. You can thrive. You get to be loved and seen and have intimacy and be supported and fucking live those dreams. Put yourself out there and go to the grave knowing that you didn't die with the music still in you. So yeah, until you deal with this head on, with this shame and just freaking pull out all these weeds that are keeping you safe and keeping you small, you're going to be feeling like you're on the bottom of the ocean with a big fat anchor on top of you where you can barely breathe. And I just want to ask you right now, is this what you signed up for in this lifetime? Because it's going to take a lot more than just waiting to be rescued. It's going to take you stepping up and doing whatever it's going to take to get the right support. You're the only one that can get yourself out of this. You've got to fight for that dream. You've got to fight for that future, and then get the support so you can actually move out of this suffering identity and into a powerful, soulful, heart-connected woman, because that's who you really are. But it's not going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen without commitment. It's not going to happen without actually really stepping the F up. Seriously, there's no shortcut. There's no half-hearted. There's no, oh, I'm curious on what that would be like. No, you've got to be all fucking in to actually change 30 plus years of conditioning. Don't keep going to therapy if you're not getting the outcome. Don't just keep doing the bare minimum and expect a different result. It's lazy, for real. And I say that because I give a shit. I want you, every single one of you in here, to be freaking raving about your life and talking about how many orgasms you have and how fucking cool love is. That's the world that I want to be in. So yeah, what are you doing right now to numb the pain? Are you just binging out on Netflix and eating tons of chocolate and, you know, binge eating? Or maybe it's alcohol for you. Maybe it's just a lot of sleep. Maybe it's turning down invitations to engagements because it's just like, I just don't want to do that. What is it for you? Or is it keeping really, really busy and hiding behind work? Or is it just pretending to everyone I'm fine while meanwhile you're crying yourself to sleep, wondering when this is going to stop? It's like a bad dream. I see you. I want you to know that you're not alone. And I also want you to know that this is like a bad drug that's never going to actually get you the outcome. So it's about first getting that and going, fuck, I don't want to feed my shame. I am not shame. Fucking powerful. I'm an amazing woman. Start there. And then get support and stop wasting your own time just living in this state, because you don't have to be doing that to yourself. And at the end of the day, as I said, we're the only ones that can get ourselves out of this mess. But you've got to be willing to give up the complaining and the suffering. Yeah, and the last thing is that the only reason we keep ourselves in this state of shame is because your confidence has plummeted so much that the horrible voices that that telling yourself your shit and feelings of hopelessness and feeling like I really can't get out of this is just getting too much. And it really starts with first admitting to yourself, do you know what? I want more for myself than this. I'm not willing to tolerate this anymore. And I don't even know how it's all going to unfold. I just know that I deserve to live my best life. Yeah, confirmation. Some hotted up car. I deserve to live my best life. I deserve to be loved. And the quickest way to get there is to actually get a fucking amazing mentor in your corner who's going to show you who you really are and guide you home to the magic of the essence that you have living inside of you that's just died out a little bit. To turn those lights back on and to get that soul feeling like you are literally lit up, on fire, with that vitality, that life force. That is your birthright. Okay? So we're now, the 2nd of September. My goodness, I can't believe it. And, just really picture, where do you want to be on the 2nd of September in 2020? Where do you want to be? What would you love in your life? Get excited about all those possibilities. Really tune into that higher self version of you and go, what do I want? How do I want to feel? And then go and listen to that superhero inside of you who knows that the quickest way to do that is to get support, because powerful women know that they can't do this on their own. That the best thing they could possibly do, like women in the world that are up to big things, let me tell you something right now, Oprah ain't doing it on her own. Elizabeth Gilbert ain't doing it on her own. They're just not. They've got a tribe, they've got mentors, they've got coaches, right? They're not sitting there just doing it all on their own. Absolutely not. And let me be honest with you, I'm not sitting here doing it on my own either. I invest a fortune in myself every single week, even though I have my beautiful soulmate husband and a baby on the way. Yeah, because I want to continue to live my lit up life. I never want to get comfortable in my marriage. I always want to be following and pursuing my dreams. And of course, we all can slip back into these bullshit stories. So I'm like, yes, I just equal, like for me, it's like investment and payoff, right? When I invest in myself, the payoff is like lifetime value. So reach out to me if you're sitting here going, you know what? Fuck shame. Shame, you can absolutely beat it. Fear, you can beat it. Guilt, you can beat it. Self-loathing, self-doubt, feeling like love's never going to happen for you, fuck right off right now. They're not welcome in your house, those thoughts. I mean, we've got to have fun in this topic as well, you know. It can get very dense, very deep, and at the end of the day, you can feel so alone. Like, oh my goodness, all my friends are in these relationships, and me, you know, you feel like you're out on some island on your own, and it's like, it does feel really, really lonely. But I'm here to remind you that it doesn't have to be. But you've got to break up with this shitty identity, okay? So I'll get Charlotte to put the link in the comments so that you can actually book a call with me, but only if you're really ready to step up, right? I can only help those of you truly that are committed to your future being the way that you want it to be. Not dabbling, not curious. Hang out in this group, you know, if you're just curious. But for those of you that are really, really adamant that you want next year to be the best of your life and you want to be the chosen one in every area of your life, then get support. Okay, I'm sending you so much love, and any questions that when you watch the replay, please post them here and I'll get to every single one of them, because this is your community. And any topics that you would like me to talk about, just email my assistant Charlotte. It's assistant@soul2soulglobal.com, and I'll happily do a Q&A on that for you as well. All right, so big, big love to you. Please remember who you are and love yourself enough to dream big again and to give up the shame story, because it's toxic, and it's basically toxic in your cells right now. And not only that, it makes you feel like shit, doesn't it? Ugh. When I feel into the energy of shame, it just puts like a shiver through my body, and it makes me feel like I've got ants in my pants. No, it does. It's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. So stop going to bed with shame and waking up with shame, because you could be doing that with your soulmate. Okay? Mwah! So much love to you, beautiful shining lights. Bye. What was it? I'm still ending it. It's my husband.